Well, yes, indeed. Young Cody, we have finally made it to our destination. The 2023 National Football League season starts now. This is Christmas Eve. We're about to open the presents. Bill Jones, along with young Cody Winstead. I'm in Dallas. Young Cody is in Philadelphia. And this is a special edition of Jonesing for Football. How special is it, young Cody?
It's my favorite episode of the year, Bill Jones. We're big into the draft, so we love all the draft prep and the bold predictions about the draft and then the draft reaction and the Super Bowl pod. But none of them compare to this pod right here, where we make our official season predictions for 2023.
We're making official season predictions on this episode of Jonesing for Football, streaming on CBS News Texas and wherever you can find podcasts. That's amazing. Why didn't you tell me in advance we were going to do this?
Bill Jones, I don't act like you're messing around here. I know you've been studying for weeks and months and just tweaking and reading the last notes to make sure everything is perfect. And I know you're ready to go with the kickoff to the season right around the corner.
It's my official NF 2023 Black Book, okay? It's got everything you need to know about every National Football League team. And in the back of it now, I've got my predictions for the 2023 season. I'm going to tell you exactly who will not make the playoffs and who will not win the Super Bowl and who will not be the Defensive Rookie of the Year, the Defensive Player of the Year, and the MVP. It's coming at you right now.
Before we start, I went back and looked at last year's predictions. Would you like a quick recap?
Tell me how successful I was last year.
Last year, you picked 10 of the 14 playoff teams, so pretty good there. You were 0 for 4 on the awards, but you did pick the Super Bowl champion Chiefs to win it all. So that was a lot of credit. And people right now probably think like, oh yeah, everyone picked the Chiefs. Not the case last year. You kind of went against the crowd once they lost Tyreek Hill. People jumped off the Chiefs. You stayed with them and you won. So that was a nice job by you.
Thank you.
Do you want to hear mine or do you not really?
I really don't care.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't really want to tell you. No, I picked 8 of the 14.
So I won that. Okay.
I picked 1 of the 4 awards.
You won that. We're 1-1.
I also picked one of the Super Bowl teams. I had the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl. So
who picked the winner?
You did. But we both
2-1. I win. No. I win 2-1.
Not how it works. We tied. That's how I look at it. Great job by you. I know this year's will be just as good.
Okay, the pressure's on then. So how do we do this? What order are we going to do this in?
All right. Well, Bill Jones, we're going to start with the division winners. We're going to start in the AFC. We'll throw in our AFC wild cards, and then we'll switch it over to the NFC. We'll give those division winners those wild cards. We'll do the awards, and we'll wrap it up with our Super Bowl picks for 2023 season. Mr. Jones, I would like to start in the AFC East.
We're going to go around the horn here. We're going to go AFC East through the AFC West, and then we're going to start with the NFC West and work our way back to the NFC East. So we're going to save the grand finale, Dallas versus Philly, for the end here. I see what you're doing. Okay.
All right. Who you got? I know you're taking the Bills or the Patriots. Who are you taking in the AFC?
Well, I got to tell you, I'm sitting here scratching my head going, who's going to make the playoffs in the AFC? I mean, I've got the AFC South figured out. I mean, that's easy to figure out. Yep. But the other 3 divisions, I have much consternation over who the playoff teams are going to be. But I do know this, the champion of the AFC East, the Buffalo Bills.
Tell me why.
Because they've got Josh Allen and they have the rest of the division's number. That's why they won the division last year by winning division games, and I don't see that changing this year.
Okay. Well, as you know,
is that a boring pick?
No, I mean it's been correct each of the
It's
last like
chalk.
4 years, right? It's pretty easy. But I'm telling you, Bill Jones,
I know where
this
you're
is
going.
happening. The New York Jets are winning the division, absolutely loaded at every position except for offensive tackle. And I think the combination of Dwayne Brown, Mekhi Becton, Max Mitchell, Billy Turner, they get the job done at tackle.
Billy
Aaron Rodgers
Turner.
has a lot of home run hitters around him. Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall, Dalvin Cook. And don't forget, Robert Saleh has coached a top 5 defense 3 of his last 4 years. Their schedule's tough, 6th toughest, but the Jets are going 12-5 and winning the division for the first time since 2002.
Hey, young Cody's got the Jets winning the AFC East. Gotcha. Got
Thank
you
you.
marked down, and that's no surprise whatsoever.
Nope, I've been all over them for the last few months. All right, how about the AFC North, Mr. Jones? Who are you taking in the AFC North?
Man, what a tough division to pick. What a tough division to pick. In fact, when you look at even last year, of course, Cincinnati won the division at 12-4. Baltimore finished second at 10-7 and made the playoffs. Lost to Cincinnati in the wild card round of the playoffs. Within the division, all 4 teams in the division last year went 3-3 against each other.
Yep.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it happens again this year. It's an even split, 3-3 against each other in the division. But assuming he remains healthy, and he wasn't healthy in the preseason, so that's maybe a big assumption. But Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals win the AFC North.
I'm with you. I have Cincinnati as well to win what I think is the toughest division in football. I think Burrow has a career year, and that's saying something, considering he's had a passer rating of 108 and 100 the last 2 years. The key for them, we've talked about this, is that improved offensive line with Orlando Brown coming over. That's going to make a big difference. And I trust the Lou Anarumo defense. He's gotten this group better each of the last 4 years, which included allowing the 6th fewest points in the league last year. Since he wins the division for the 3rd straight season. How about that AFC South, Bill Jones?
And this is an easy one. We're in agreement on this. Jacksonville wins the AFC South, right?
Jacksonville wins the AFC South. I'm with you. I agree.
Yeah, that's well. Although I mean, we talk about it that Jacksonville easily wins the AFC South. Well, they won it last year too, with a 9-8 record, and so it wasn't like Jacksonville was all that. And then they fell behind the Chargers by 4 touchdowns in the playoff game and came back and won. And then lost to Kansas City by just a touchdown in the playoffs. But I think it's the natural maturation of Trevor Lawrence. They will distance themselves from a rebuilding division. All right, AFC West.
I think this one's easy too, Bill Jones. The Chiefs have won the division 7 straight years, so 8 seems pretty likely, especially with their additions on the O-line. Donovan Smith, left tackle, Jawan Taylor, right tackle. But they obviously need Chris Jones back in the mix because he's the key to their pass rush. They were 2nd in sacks last year, which doesn't really get talked about all that much. Without him, the defense, I think, is very vulnerable. Here's a somewhat bold prediction, Bill Jones. The Chiefs do not get the number 1 seed in the AFC this year, which means no bye in the playoffs, but I still think they're going to win the division. What about you?
So that means that you believe that division is going to be tough. They went 6-0 in their division last year, but you think that division is going to be tougher this year?
Yes. Schedule's tough too.
Okay. All right. Of course, with the first place schedule, it's naturally going to be a tougher schedule. Although they play a tough schedule every year because they finish first place every year. Their division. All right. So I've got Kansas City as well, winning the AFC West, and I do think it's going to be a tougher division. By the way, in that division, Denver, as much as people and Sean Payton talks about how poorly coached the Denver Broncos were last year, did you know this about the Broncos? Now, they went 1-5 in the division last year, but their road games in the division last year, they lost to Kansas City by 3 points. They lost to the Chargers by 3 points. They lost to Vegas by 9. And then at home, They lost to Kansas City by only 6 points, and they lost to Vegas by only 6 points, and they beat the Chargers by 3. I mean, of the 6 division games, 5 of them were decided by a touchdown or 3 points or less.
Truthfully, that doesn't surprise me because that's the NFL right there. Those division games always come down to one score, but I think that is a good point.
Which tells me with Sean, can Sean Payton make up the difference on those games? Maybe Denver could be a wild card choice to be a wild card team.
Are you picking them? Give me your AFC wild cards, Bill Jones.
Man, that's why this led me to much consternation. I went ahead and I'm going with a wild card team from 3 divisions. I'm not doubling up in a division, okay? Because I think they're so competitive. The divisions are so competitive in the East, the North, and the West that I think the only possibility is that one wild card emerges from each division. And I'm going to go ahead and go with the Chargers as my wild card from the West.
Okay. I like that. I have the Chargers as well. I actually picked them to make the Super Bowl, to win the Super Bowl last year. But I'm not making that same mistake this season, just to give you a preview. But they just have so much talent. And I'm really pumped to see Joey Bosa come back. And him and the Khalil Mack combination only had 10.5 sacks last year. I think they're going to have 20 combined sacks this year. That's what they need.
Which brings us to the other 2 divisions, the East and the North. Yep. And which wild card teams emerge from? You got your other 2 wild cards are from either the East or the North, right?
Correct.
Okay. So you want to give yours first, and then I'll shock the world.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills as a wild card team. 47 wins over the last 4 years. I think we're all sleeping on Josh Allen, but this year he kind of reminds people, oh yeah, this dude is awesome. So I'll take Buffalo, who's going to finish second in the AFC East. And then my team from the AFC North. Went back and forth on this. I was leaning between, or trying to figure out between, the Browns and the Steelers. One of those teams is making the postseason. And I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns as my surprise AFC team this year. I think they squeak in over the Steelers. I love how the Browns are built. Good on the O-line, good on the D-line, plus a great running game will make things easy on Deshaun Watson. And everybody's talking about Kellen Moore and the Chargers and the impact he's going to have, and he definitely will. But I don't think enough people are talking about Jim Schwartz's impact on the Browns defense. So Cleveland has more good players than most people realize. I think the Browns are back in the postseason for the second time in the last 4 years.
And I thought long and hard about Cleveland last night. I thought long and hard about, okay, Deshaun Watson, now he's back with a full off season, full season, whatever. Got games under his belt last year. I watched them in their preseason game last night. I'm up till 2 a.m. Drilling down on Cleveland and trying to figure out, okay, can Cleveland be that shocker team that emerges?
Their roster is great.
Yeah. And I went with the Pittsburgh Steelers instead.
Okay.
Pittsburgh.
Good too.
I just love that mindset that they've got. Going back to my guy, Darnell Washington, a 3rd round pick. I mean, he just typifies that Steeler attitude, and he's the 6th offensive lineman with the athleticism to catch the football with Freiermuth, and they're going to, in that black and blue division, the Steelers are going to emerge in a very tight race with the other wild card slot, which brings us to the AFC East.
The AFC East?
My other wild card team.
Who are you taking?
My other wild card team, the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots, who were second in the league in takeaways last year. They were 8th in total defense. They had 54 sacks on the season. Now they've got Zeke Elliott to pair with Ramondre Stevenson in that backfield. Here's another bold prediction for you. Zeke's going to run for 1,000 yards, and the New England Patriots are going to ground and pound their way and take that football away. Wow, that's almost a rhyme. And they are going to make the playoffs as the number 7 seed in the playoffs, the New England Patriots.
What is going on here? So you're saying no Jets in the playoffs?
I'm saying no Jets in the playoffs. And that goes against Tom Brady on his Let's Go podcast to start this week. He, of course, thinks that Aaron Rodgers is going to have a great year, and it kind of mirrors what Brady did when he went to Tampa Bay. I don't know that he went so far as to predict that Rodgers would win the Super Bowl this year, but He thinks there's similarities there. So
Zeke at over 1,000 yards. How would that play in Dallas, Bill Jones?
Oh, that'll be very interesting. Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. There you go. Those are my picks in the AFC. All right. NFC we go. Here we go. NFC. NFC West.
You want to start with it, or you want mine?
I'll kick it off with San Francisco winning the NFC West.
I'm going for another shocker here, Bill Jones. Give me the Seattle Seahawks to win the division. A lot of elite players, terrific depth, the newly paid Geno Smith, fresh off his Comeback Player of the Year award. He has as much around him as any quarterback in the league. Metcalf, Lockett, Walker, the rookies, Smith and Jigba, Charbonnet. Plus, I think their defense is going to be significantly better. It was 26th a year ago, and they made the playoffs then. I think it might be top 10 this year with Bobby Wagner coming to town, Jaron Reed, hopefully Jamal Adams, we'll see. Plus Devin Witherspoon, the rookie. I think last year they were 9-8 and made the playoffs. This year, I'm saying 11 wins and a division title for the Seahawks.
Wow, 11 wins and a division title. And by the way, okay, San Francisco went 6-0 in the division last year. Seattle went 4-2, while Arizona and the Rams went 1-5 each. And it's probably going to wind up Arizona and the Rams going 1-5 again this year in that
Similar.
division.
Yep, for sure.
Okay. All right. So you got Seattle. I got San Francisco. NFC South. Oh, you got New Orleans. I already know.
I have the Saints. They are my surprise NFC team this year. Love their experience. Really good bets on both sides of the ball. And Derek Carr is the perfect fit for this team. I love how they're going to be able to run it with Jamal Williams, Kendre Miller, eventually Alvin Kamara. The defense should be elite. Big names. Plus, they kind of underwent a little bit of a youth movement, especially on that D-line. I like that. 12 wins for the Saints, Mr. Jones, and could make some noise in the playoffs. Who you got?
12 wins for the Saints. They're going to get a lot of wins in their division, clearly you believe, right?
Yes, sir.
You know what? I'm going with Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers to win the NFC South. I liked what I saw from Bryce Young in the preseason. The thing that where he overcomes his height disadvantage is his ability to process. And he quickly, and I think that's one of the most important things that a quarterback needs to be able to do to make the transition to this league. And you can see it even in those preseason games. Now it's vanilla. I understand all that, but just split-second decisions, even the decisions just evading a pass rush and knowing where to go with the football and that sort of thing. I think in Carolina was 7-10 last year with nothing. Baker Mayfield to start the year and as firing their coach, and they still were very close to making the playoffs in a weak division, a division won by Tampa Bay with an 8-9 record last year. And Carolina went 4-2 in their division last year. Yes, you want to make a point?
Bryce is going to have to be the fastest processor ever born because of that offensive line. So he's going to have to process really quickly, and he might be able to do that. But I agree with your point. I'm just really worried about the offensive line there.
It's not going to be a runaway. It's going to be maybe a 9-8 record to win the division again. But I think Carolina. I'm taking Carolina to win the division. All right, to the north we go.
I love my Lions, even though they're probably a little overhyped. I'm beyond fired up to watch their draft class, Bill Jones, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta, Brian Branch. Those four will provide a ton of talent at needed positions. And we know the connection between Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Their offensive line is great. Defensively, last in the league last year, but completely rebuilt for 2023. So I think 10 wins as the Lions claim the division for the first time since 1993.
Whoa, that's a nice round number when you consider this as 2023. That's 30 years ago. We look for storylines like that. It's been exactly incredible? 30 years. All right, and I am going with the Lions as well to win the division. Yes, they went 5-1 in the division last year, and the Vikings won so many close games. The Vikings went 4-2 last year in the division, and yet they only outscored their division opponents by 8 points a year ago. The Lions outscored their division opponents by 49 points last year, and there's no reason to think it won't continue this year. Detroit wins the NFC North.
My man, I like it. All right, here we go. The division we've all been waiting for, Bill Jones.
Yep, here it is. Here it is.
NFC East. Before we start, I do want to say, we talked about picks last year. I want to give you credit because you picked the Eagles to win the division last year, despite the Cowboys being the division champion the year before. So I mean, that was a bold prediction by you.
No, it wasn't.
It paid off.
It was not a bold prediction. I was looking at history. And when was the last time? When was the last time a team repeated as NFC East champions? It was your Philadelphia Eagles in 2004, now 19 years ago. So it was a very easy pick last year that the Cowboys would not repeat as division champions. And it's a very easy pick again this year. The Philadelphia Eagles will not repeat as NFC East champions.
I disagree, but I want to hear your pick. Give it to me.
So my pick, the Dallas Cowboys to win the NFC East. I think they are a better football team than they were last year with the addition of not only Brandon Cooks, but also Deuce Vaughn on offense, another playmaker on offense for them. And they're even better on defense personnel-wise with the addition of not Mozzie Smith, Stephon Gilmore in the secondary. Yes, the Dallas Cowboys win the NFC East over the Philadelphia Eagles.
I disagree, Bill Jones. I'm going against history here. I tried all offseason to pick the Cowboys, find a way to decide that they would win the division, and it's just not happening. If you look at starter for starter, I think they compare very well. But the depth that Philly has and their ability to overcome injuries, I just think is on a different level. The Eagles have the best O-line in the league, maybe the best D-line in the league, and that's a scary combination. Philly had 70 sacks last season, most in the NFL since 1989. And their D-line is probably better this year.
Whoa. Where did 11 of those sacks come from?
Javon Hargrave.
Who's now in San Francisco?
Yeah.
And they're a better defensive line this year without Hargrave?
Javon Carter, Nolan Smith. I think that's very possible. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We shall see.
My only concerns for Philly, the new OC and the new DC. But if that's a smooth transition, I like Philly at 11-6 to win the division. So not 14-3 like last year, but I'm saying 11-6, and they claim the NFC East.
So all right, you're looking at it. You're looking at even more competitive NFC East than last year.
I think the Cowboys win 10 games, which I just tipped you off to one of my wild cards, but I think the Eagles win 11.
And the Giants, of course, last year went 9-7-1, and Washington went 8-8-1. They did not have a losing team in that division a year ago. Okay, wild cards. All right, I will start out west with your division champion. Seattle is a wild card team.
Yep.
I will go to the South, and your division champion, New Orleans, is a wild card team. And I will leapfrog to the NFC East, where your division champion, Philadelphia, is a wild card team. No wild card coming out of that North. Minnesota takes a step back this year. They will not win those close games this year.
I'm with you. My wild cards, the 49ers, your division champion. The Cowboys, your division champion. By the way, I do think this is the best Cowboys roster since 2007. The year they went 13-3, then they went to Cabo, then they lost. I think this is the best roster since then. My final wild card team, Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Do you want to guess?
Yeah, I want to guess.
It's okay. Go ahead.
The Green Bay Packers.
The Green Bay Packers. You are correct. Very well done. I have no idea if, did you look at my paper or what happened?
No, I thought, okay, he's coming up with something. He saved it for last. It's got to be someone we aren't going to expect. In Green Bay, it is.
It is Green Bay. I talked to multiple people during my training camp tour this year who were in the know, who went to Packers camp, and they told me Jordan Love is going to be better than most people expect. And I think a good Jordan Love plus all the supporting cast that he has, which is very, very good. I think the Packers find a way to squeak into the playoffs with a very manageable schedule. So give me the Green Bay Packers.
All right. I like it. Okay. So we going with the superlatives. Who wins the awards first?
Let's do it. How about
playoffs? Okay.
How about offensive rookie of the year, Mr. Jones? Who are you taking?
I tipped my hand earlier. I'm going with the number 1 overall pick in the draft. I'm going with Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers as the offensive rookie of the year.
Yep. Bryce was actually my second choice, but the guy I'm picking, he's going to become the feature back of the Detroit Lions very quickly, maybe even this week. Give me Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm predicting kind of a similar production to something like Alvin Kamara 2.0. I'm thinking 15 to 1,600 scrimmage yards. He's going to be a beast receiving. He's going to be very good running. And I think they're going to line him up all over the field, in backfield, out wide, in the slot, in motion. I'm taking Jahmyr Gibbs for offensive rookie of the year.
There's a different question for you. What rookie will be the top rookie in the league in merchandise sales?
I
got it for you.
Who is it?
Deuce Vaughn.
You think so?
Deuce Vaughn's number 42 jersey, the Dallas Cowboys, will be the top rookie merchandise sales. The 5'5", 6th round draft pick, who is a dark horse and offensive rookie of the year candidate, in my opinion. He's going to have that. He is going to be used enough in that Cowboys offense. He's going to make an impact where he's going to be noticeable.
That's fair. I think Bijan Robinson's going to be in the mix too.
That's true. Yeah. And Deuce had better college stats than Bijan. All right, defensive rookie of the year.
All right. I'm going Jack Campbell, also of the Detroit Lions. I really struggled with this one. I went back and forth between Jalen Carter, who everyone here in Philly is raving about, Kalijah Cansey, maybe even Will McDonald. But I like Jack Campbell, very instinctual player, incredibly smart, going to make a ton of tackles. In fact, Bill Jones, quick trivia question. The all-time record for tackles by a rookie was set by Patrick Willis in 2007. Do you want to make a guess on how many tackles he had that year?
215.
Somewhat close. 174. That's the rookie record. And I think Jack Campbell could potentially challenge it and maybe even surpass it. So I'm predicting Gibbs and Campbell to win the rookies of the year. And if that sounds familiar, 2 teammates winning rookies of the year. It happened last year, Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner with the Jets.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm glad you mentioned Sauce Gardner and the Jets because my defensive rookie of the year is also a cornerback. It's Emmanuel Forbes of the Washington
Wow.
Commanders, who was such a playmaker in college, had 4 returns for touchdowns, I believe. And you had Sauce Gardner last year. You had Tariq Woolen with the huge year for the Seattle Seahawks. And Emmanuel Forbes, who, if you look at him going into the draft, he's so skinny, and you're like, how in the world can he hold up in the NFL? He's got, you talk about instincts, he's got that. And I think teams will challenge him. And I think he will answer the challenge and have, let's put it at 6 picks for him.
Wow. That's interesting. Funny, Bill Jones. I saw a couple people pick him for defensive rookie of the year as well. And I was shocked. So that is bold. I'll give you that. All right. How about defensive player of the year? I think I have a feeling I know where you're going here.
I'm going with Micah.
Yeah.
Micah,
Again?
it's the Micah Award.
Until he wins it.
Until he wins it, it's the Micah Award. Micah looks better than he did last year, looks better than he did his rookie year. He combined for 26 and a half sacks those years, and he might have 26 and a half sacks this year. No, he won't have that many. But I think Micah is poised to improve on his sack total, and his impact will be immense on what may be the best defense in the league.
I'm going with someone from the DFW area, Mr. Jones. Give me Myles Garrett, the best combination of size, speed, and athleticism in the league. 16 sacks each of the last 2 years, and he's going over that amount this year with Jim Schwartz as the new DC, bringing that wide 9 defense. By the way, I didn't nail Nick Bosa in this award last year. So I'm going back to back for old C-Dub here on that defensive player of the year. All right. Do you want to lead us off here with the MVP, Mr. Jones?
You know what? It's tough to pick the MVP, and then it's not tough to pick the MVP because you have to narrow it down to a quarterback, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's been a decade since anyone but a quarterback won the MVP, and it's so easy to pick Patrick Mahomes to win the MVP, right? I mean, when you put up the kind of numbers that Patrick put up, and just to review last year, a 14-3 record as a starting quarterback of the eventual Super Bowl champions. He passed for 5,250 yards, 41 touchdowns against 12 picks. So it's almost like you got to get to 40 touchdowns or around 5,000 yards to be even in consideration, which narrows the list down, I think. Now, you can't have a Lamar Jackson or a Jalen Hurts who you're adding rushing totals to it as well.
Yeah.
And so that's the caveat with this. But otherwise, like last year, Justin Herbert had 4,700 yards passing, but he only had 25 touchdown passes against 10 picks. Joe Burrow was around 4,500 yards. Now, he had 35 touchdowns, 12 picks. Josh Allen was 4,300 yards and 35 touchdowns. So, okay. That's how I kind of look at this. And so if I'm not going to go with Mahomes, which I guess I won't go with Mahomes, I narrowed it down to either Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow or Josh Allen. And I've decided I'm just going to go ahead and go with Josh Allen this year to win the MVP.
Yeah, I can't disagree. I mean, that's a good pick. Like I said earlier, I think Josh Allen reminds everybody this year that, oh yeah, I'm a beast. So I can't disagree. Having said that, I'm going in a different direction.
I roll with a wide receiver.
No, not quite.
Okay.
I'm taking the guy you actually picked last year to win the MVP. That is Joe Burrow, who, by the way, is 3-1 against Patrick Mahomes head to head. And yes, the lone loss was last year's AFC Championship game, but revenge is coming for Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Like I said, better offensive line than he's ever had. Plus the weapons are still elite. Assuming the calf strain isn't a problem, give me Joe Burrow. All right. Super Bowl picks. Would you like to start or would you like me to take the lead here?
Well, you've got it broken down to conference championship games?
I do. Yep. I have a
Okay.
final four, and then I can.
Let's go with the final four first.
Okay.
Who do you have in your final four?
In the AFC, I'm taking the Jets at the Bengals in the AFC Championship.
Okay, Jets at Bengals. And
With
in the NFC, okay, I'm going. My AFC, I got Buffalo at Kansas City.
Okay, we've seen that
Okay.
one before, but that's a great
Yes.
matchup.
Okay. Now, NFC, what is your championship game?
It's a rematch of last year. Niners at Eagles.
Mine is a rematch of last year. It's a
But not,
rematch of last year, but it is a divisional playoff rematch of last year, and it's a rematch of the year before as well.
yeah.
But it's Dallas at San Francisco in the NFC Championship game.
Wow, that would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
What year would that harken back to? 1994?
No, 92. Well, they
92.
92 in San Francisco.
There you go.
But that was set the stage, set the tone for 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. My favorite game ever. Dallas went to San Francisco and won
In the
30
rain,
to 20.
right? Was that a rain game?
It was a rainy game. It was a rainy day at Candlestick Park. And yes, Dallas emerged victorious and then beat Buffalo in the Super Bowl by a score of 52-17, which brings me to my Super Bowl pick. Will it be Dallas against Buffalo in the Super Bowl, going back to 1992 revisited? No, it will not be.
Oh man, it was setting up so perfect.
San Francisco beats Dallas 30-20
no.
in the NFC Championship game and plays the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl.
So Bills versus Niners.
And San Francisco wins the Super Bowl with Brock Purdy at quarterback.
That'll be interesting, Bill Jones. I'm actually just happy because that means they won't be able to say Cowboys haven't made an NFC Championship game since now. I'm just happy that will be won't be a thing anymore. We can get rid of that. All right. My Super Bowl sets up like this. It's the Cincinnati Bengals versus the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm taking the Bengals to bring the Lombardi to Ohio, Mr. Jones. I just love everything about Cincinnati. They've shored up their offensive line, and that's a huge reason why I trust their defense. Not a ton of star players, but they always get the job done. So give me the Cincinnati Bengals.
I'm confused. You had Seattle winning the NFC West, and yet you have San Francisco going to the Super Bowl.
That is correct. I think they both have 11 wins potentially, or Seattle's going to win by 1, but then San Francisco in the postseason.
Okay. I like it. Well, and so San Francisco this year is in the NFC Championship game. They are beating who?
They are going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles.
So they're going to go to Philadelphia and beat Philadelphia in the championship game this year.
Correct.
Revenge. So they are going to get stronger as the year goes on.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Very good. I like that because they will have a healthy quarterback
and not be playing a third string or no quarterback at all.
That's right. That's right.
NFC Championship.
All right. So there you have it. Now you know exactly what will not happen in this 2023 season. I say it's time to kick it off. What do you say?
Gosh, I cannot wait for Lions and Chiefs. The Lions are going to shock the world here on the first day of the season. Man, I am pumped.
And Philadelphia plays whom again?
They have a bye in week 1, one of the rare byes. So they face the New England Patriots. They go
Ah, yes, the playoff-bound New England Patriots will be honoring Tom Brady before that game, as a matter of fact, as they host the Philadelphia Eagles and pull off the shocker to start the season.
If the Patriots win, how much credit will Tom Brady get for the victory, despite not even playing? He's going to get all the credit. It's going to go all the time.
And of course, the Cowboys open at the New York Giants. And then on Monday night, you got Buffalo against Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. And then Aaron Rodgers and the Jets come here to face the Cowboys, a 3:25 kickoff the following Sunday, a game you can see on CBS Texas. And we thank you, all of you watching on CBS News Texas. For Cody Winstead, I'm Bill Jones. Thanks for joining us here for Jonesing
for football. Love you, babe.